I wanted to shift gears to the Lions at least for a bit because they made a signing yesterday. Zach Cunningham didn't do much last year, was on the practice squad for a lot of the year, but in his prime with Houston had a couple of seasons with, 142 tackles in 2019, 164 in 2020, was a starter with the Eagles in a 2023. And I don't want to so much ask you about Zach Cunningham, the player. It's just the linebacking room with the Lions. Malcolm Rodriguez probably will be out to start the year. Alex Anzalone, whether it's something or nothing, is not in OTAs and maybe looking for a new deal. Derek Barnes is coming off an injury.
That man.
Hey, fair enough. Is this Zach Cunningham signing purely just a depth piece, or is this somebody that you could actually see playing significant snaps with this team in the 2025 season?
I think it's a depth piece, and it's a strategic play that if you saw a guy who led the league in tackles in 2020, why not take a shot? He's 30, but if it happens that he can find that fountain of youth and get back to where he was just 5 years ago, then you've really gotten something. But it's the type of risk that you take in a guy that you're adding to your roster. It's not a guy off the street. It's a guy who really has produced in his career.
Yeah, and you know what? With those linebackers, I hear you talking about pay that man with Enzo, but how comfortable are you with this linebacking core going into the season, knowing that, in front of them, they're going to go into the season believing, at least to this point, that they have enough on that defensive line, especially with Aiden Hutchinson back, despite what people may feel about the opposite side. They made some improvements to the middle of that line. Is that linebacker? And keep in mind the additions they made to the secondary and what we expect from the improvements there. That linebacker core, man, where's your comfort level with them heading into the season?
If Anzalone comes back, I'm comfortable with what they have. They've shown that they can be at least middle of the pack, and that's all you need with a strong defensive line and what we're hoping will be in that defensive secondary, a top-tier group as far as safety and those cornerbacks getting a little bit more experience. So you don't have to be great. You don't go and break the bank and go get some top-tier linebacker. That's not what you need right now. You just need for them to be somewhere in the middle of the pack so that defense can be a little bit in that top half of the league this year.
Yeah. I pretty much echo your sentiment right there. But there's a lot of good vibes going on in Detroit sports, especially if you are of the Go Blue persuasion, because Yaxel Landeborg, Michigan transfer that transferred to Michigan a while back, but had entered his hat into the NBA draft, but decided to withdraw and play this next season at Michigan. What is the ceiling of this team? Is Michigan with Yaxel, with Trey McKinney, the phenom recruit, with a couple of the holdovers, with a couple other players in the transfer portal, is this a national championship caliber team this year? I know it's early, but just your initial thoughts.
In the discussion, because every year we're talking about a year-to-year situation. It's not Duke 91 or 92 where you've got 4-year seniors and you're bringing in top recruits along with it. It is a year, and we saw it last year, with you just cobble together some type of roster with guys from here, from there, from everywhere, and say, hey, you can make it to the tournament. As long as you get in the tournament, you got a chance. Who's your number one team this year that you say is going to be the odds-on favorite going into the season? It's tough to say. There are probably 4 or 5 teams that are in that discussion, and Michigan can even be number 6 in that discussion. I think they have a good shot at it.
Hey, definitely. And you know what? When you're talking about Dusty Mayer, you talk about the work he's done with the transfer portal. The thing that I like about this team, Rod, and I just wanted to be able to get your take on this as well, they've upgraded at a lot of the positions or at a lot of the weaknesses that we thought they had last year. I know what the measurables presented as it relates to Area 51, but I believe that this team got significantly better as it relates to physicality, toughness, play in the paint, defense in the paint. And I do believe that starts with, Dusty May being somebody who's not just an eye for talent, but has understood on the fly how to use this transfer portal to address this team's weaknesses, especially playing in the Big Ten where it's going to be rough and tumble.
No, it is the transfer portal has completely changed everything now where, of course, with NIL, but you don't have to go out and recruit in living rooms the same way anymore and get a guy to stay for 3 or 4 years. You need him to stay for one. And that's the promise that you make in that living room, in that discussion is, hey, stay for one. We got a shot at it. And you turn everything over. The thing that I wanted to see was guard play from last year. You give them two good guards last year and they make a couple more wins in the tournament. You've got guards now, you've got shooting now. You can piece it together in so many different ways, but the blueprint of this Michigan team is going to be so much different than it was last year, I think. And just having some steady point guard play is going to make things a lot easier.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because that's one thing that sticks out to me when you look at their potential roster. You've got Elliot Cadeau, who's proven as a pass-first point guard. You've got untapped potential in LJ Kaysen, but you saw some things last year, especially as the season winded down. And Trey McKinney is obviously the phenom. His ceiling is being a lottery pick. But back to the Tigers, and this is more of a fun question. I don't mean to put you on the spot because there's a lot of factors that go into this, but just your first initial reaction. Will Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson both make the AL All-Star team this year?
Yes. Yes. You get multiple All-Stars when you have a winning record, or at least a winning record, but the top record in the American League will yield you 2, maybe even 3 All-Stars. Because, I mean, you're going to get Scooble. That's going to happen. But do you get 2 position players? Yeah, I think you do, just by virtue of having that top record.
I'll tell you what, too. When you keep looking how Gleyber Torres' season is progressing and his numbers, especially that on-base percentage, that walk-to-strikeout ratio, I don't know if anybody's been paying as close as attention as I have, but it is pretty tantalizing. I will just say that. We might be looking at a lot of Tigers All-Stars. We might. I'm not calling for 6 or anything like that, but I do agree with you with Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson, especially in the case of Torque. The first base position in the AL, there's room for Spencer Torkelson. I'll just say that. No disrespect to the rest of the American League, but there's room for Torque, and unless he falls off a cliff, which I don't suspect he will.
Yeah, not at all. And, you know,
and that's been the deal with him too. The deal with him has just been the consistency, and can he maintain it? We've seen it through this point of the season, through 50-plus games, and I think he can maintain that through July.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know we got one more segment with you. So last week we went through our, Swisher Brick questions, and the chat family had a lot to say about that. So this week it's gonna be like 1.5. So next week we'll pick up our version of the Swisher Brick, where we're going through and we have some different players, some different free agents, some different drafts, some different scenarios as we try to whittle away over 4 different shows. But each show after, we're going to recap with what the chat family is saying too. So there's some interesting things there. Nothing outlandish, but there are definitely some names that we got to